Round 12 of the AFL is complete. Now on to round 13, which is the big freeze round. So we had less games last week, and let's see how we did. Now, I'm a bit gutted. I had the plan last week to have the score differences a little bit lower, just to try and get within that 30% margin to get the extra score point. It did not go to plan. So I did Melbourne to win by 30, which I thought was a decent amount. They actually beat Carlton by 17, so not quite as much. But I get the point for the win, no point for the score. And it is interesting because people are really losing faith with Carlton. People are stopping backing them, only 5% this week. And bear in mind, Melbourne, yes, they're very good. They're there or thereabouts, but they have lost a few games still. Anyway, I get 1 point. I'll take that. Next, on to Port versus Hawthorn. 2% of people thought Hawthorn would win. They must be Hawthorn fans. That is the only logic I've got. And this is annoying. Once again, I thought I'd do a smaller score line, and Port went and won by 55. And I'm amazed that Hawthorn even got 96. That is incredible. Really, really high-scoring game. Must have been fantastic to watch. Port are still going to be a team I'm backing because they are doing really, really well. Up to second place now on the heels of Collingwood. So I get the point for the result. No point for the score, and I was annoyed because I had loads of people did the same as me, a 30-point difference. Not many people got the extra score point. Then on to West Coast versus Collingwood. 2%, once again, 2% of people went for West Coast. Who the hell are those people? I have no idea. Collingwood on fantastic form. I did Collingwood to win by 40. They won by 63. So I wasn't massively out, but I do not get that scoreline, so my plan did not work. I just got to go big, ballsy next time. A point for the result, no point for the score. Then on to Western Bulldogs versus Geelong. I worked on the logic. Now, I'm happy with this because I am within the 24% of people that got Geelong right. Now, Geelong have not gone and lost, I think, more than 4 games in a row. I'm just going with the statistics. So my logic was spot on. 76% of people went with the Bulldogs. 24 went with Geelong, and I'm on the 24%. I'm so happy about that. I get the match point. Excellent. But once again, not the score point. I wasn't massively off either. That's bit gutting. Then Gold Coast versus Crows. I'm amazed. I know it was up in the sunny Gold Coast. However, 48% of people went for Gold Coast. And yes, they're now sitting in 11th. Crows are down to 9th. I was in the majority, but Gold Coast, they won by 25, and I did Crows to win by 10. Crows, I'm disappointed. You let me down. If Barbara's watching this, I'll hold you accountable for this. So a good win for Gold Coast there, and I get nothing. Then on to GWS versus Richmond. I know this is it's a difficult one because Richmond haven't had good form. Well done to the 23% of people that went for Richmond. It could have gone either way. It really could have gone either way. In the end, Richmond won by 6, so I was wrong, and I get nothing for that. I've got nothing more to say, but disappointed with GWS. And then the last game of the week was Essendon versus North, and I tell you what, only 3% of people went for North, and they are so plucky. They're awful, but so plucky. 99 points they got compared to Essendon's 105. Must have been a cracking game as well. And I did Essendon to win by 40. They only won by 6. Gutted. I got the point for the win, but not the result. It's been a bit disappointing because I haven't had the time to watch as much this season. I watched a load at the start, but I've just been swamped. So some of these games this week just gone have looked cracking. and I'm gutted to have missed them. But let's see how people are doing in the leaderboards. So looking at the leaderboard, the top 5 has not changed. All of them are having a really, really good time at the moment. robreacts is at the top, not quite as good this week, actually. He's possibly allowed Aussie TV, Jackson maybe, to sneak in. But cracking, those top 5 doing so well. Let's look at some movers and shakers. Pie Boy, Godra going up 9 places. Newtown Falconers. You, mate, are having an absolute belter of a week. Up 26 places, and the golden hat for you. You need that for that crazy hair of yours, buddy. Iggsy up 13, doing very well. The Salmonator up 22. Where am I? Oh, I've gone down 6. I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down. I'm sort of around that sort of 30-ish points, aren't I? Down 6, unfortunately. Sarah Ma gone up 14. Who has been the worst? Ooh, Jeff's gone down 18. Who's done the worst? Let's keep going. Fred, I feel sorry. Fred has only gone down 3 places, but he gets the wooden spoon for the week. So talking about why it's quite difficult for me to watch now, because obviously we're in summertime and the clocks, it means that the games are a little bit later in the day, and you normally think, great, it means you don't have to get up as early. The problem is I have to work. So the first game of the week, for example, is Sydney versus St Kilda. And the problem is it's at 10:20, which is right in the middle of my walking of the dogs of the day. So I don't think I'll be able to watch it, or I'll watch the end of it and I'll have it on my phone while walking around. But Thursday, we got a Thursday game. No, I'm still too busy. We've got Sydney versus St Kilda. You can guess which team, because I think we are going to go up that table now. We've got Hickey back. I never thought I'd say it, but I'm so glad he's back, because he is really, really helping the team. Hopefully some more injuries are being able to play now. St Kilda, they're up, they're down. They're in 5th place at the moment, and they got a lot of early. That real winning spree they had at the start massively helped them. But I think they are really now going to have to try and fight to stay in the top 8, because I don't have confidence in them. I'm going to go Sydney. Sydney are winning this. Sydney, we're at home. Sydney by 20. I don't think we'd win by loads. We are at home. Maybe that makes a difference. Maybe it doesn't. But I just think our team is slowly getting back together, and we're becoming what we were at the end of last season, or well, most of last season actually. Next up on Friday at the Docklands, Marvel Stadium, Western Bulldogs versus Port. Now, I just cannot go against Port either. Port are playing so well, and they will probably lose at some point. And Bulldogs, they're playing okay. They lost to Geelong last week, but Port are just on fire. And they probably can't keep up, and I will back them, and they will probably lose at some point. But I'm going to go with Port. They are scoring for fun. 150 odd points they got last week. Incredible stuff. I'm going to go Port. I'm going to go Port by 20 again. I don't necessarily think it'd be huge, because Western Bulldogs aren't playing that badly. But I think Port will have just enough. Then MCG, Melbourne, Saturday the 10th. Hawthorn versus Brisbane. Now, Brisbane lost their last game. I don't think they'll lose again. They just surely cannot lose to Hawthorn. I can't go against Brisbane here. I know it's down at the MCG, but I can't go against Brisbane. Brisbane by 40. They're gonna hit back now. They've lost. They're angry. They're gonna be fired up, and they're gonna get their winning back on track. So yeah, Brisbane by 40. Hawthorn are gonna get smashed. I just think now. Crows. They're going to win. It's at the Oval. West Coast are the worst team in the league. They don't even show any plucky performances. At least with North, they're losing most weeks, but at least they try. And West Coast are awful. I'm so sorry if you're a West Coast fan. I've probably said this last week and previous weeks. I'm so sorry that you have to put up with this crap. Adelaide, going to get their win in again. Adelaide are going to storm it. 50. I'll do 50. Might even be more. Adelaide by 50. Over to the Optus, Fremantle versus Richmond. Fremantle, you know, I said I really backed them at the start of the season. I think I put them second in the league, and that's not really worked. And I don't think they'll get that high, but they're on a run. 4 games in a row. Richmond, they're up, they're down. Who knows what the hell they're doing. They're in 13th. It's at the Optus, so they get home advantage for Fremantle. So I'm going to go Fremantle. Form and home. That's what I go with. I'm going to do by 20. Maybe more, maybe less. Who knows? Fremantle, you know, some games they've been scoring for fun. Some games it's been quite close. So I'm going to do them by 20. Then Blundstone Arena over to Tassie. North versus GWS. See, this is a tough one because GWS, they've been okay. That's all I got for them. I'm going to go with North. This is the surprise, probably the surprise pick of the week. I'm going to go with North. North have been putting in so much effort. They've been scoring. That's the problem. They've been scoring, but they've been letting the other team score too many. That has been their problem. They may lose this, but I'm going to have the surprise pick as North. I'm going to do them to win by 6. I don't think they'd win by a lot, but I'm going to go with North to get their 3rd win of the season. Then MCG, Carlton versus Essendon. It's a tough one. It is quite a tough one, but Carlton just aren't playing well enough, are they? They're not scoring. They're not doing anything. And, you know, I think it's funny because the bookies, for example, 1.95 and 1.8 for Essendon, they're actually playing it very, very close. Essendon 3 wins in a row. I don't think the wins have been against real tough teams, but Carlton aren't a tough team, so I have to go with Essendon. I'm going to do Essendon by 20. Yeah. Then, last game of the week, MCG again. Melbourne versus Collingwood. Why Collingwood are often the last game of the week? I don't get it. This is the game of the week, you would think, right? Melbourne, still fairly decent form. They're 3rd in the league. They've had 2 losses. Last week was a win, but Collingwood, they just can't lose at the moment. But I've got to find a way of pushing up the table. I've got to find a way of getting points where other people aren't getting points. Now, is that, you know, doing a slightly off-the-cuff result? Oh, it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult because my head is saying Collingwood. My gut is saying Melbourne. I'm going to go Melbourne. Screw it. Let's go Melbourne. I'm going to go Melbourne by 6. Can Melbourne be the team that finally make Pies lose their 2nd game of the season? Maybe. That is going to be a cracking game, and it's on Monday. And maybe I'll get up really early and watch it. We'll see. So, there we are. My picks for the week. Sydney by 20, Port by 20, Brisbane by 40, Crows by 50, Dockers by 20, North by 6. Come on, North. Essendon by 20, and the D's by 6. A real, an interesting week. A really, really interesting week. Games like Bulldogs and Port, Sydney, St Kilda, even Fremantle, Richmond, Carlton, Essendon, and Melbourne, Collingwood. Some real games that could be quality and could go either way. So real interesting week. I hope you're enjoying following along to my tips each week. It's so good seeing the movement from people. I'm glad so many people are still joining in halfway through the season. And as I said, it's so interesting seeing how people like Ragnarok X, who is in the top 1% on Super Brew out of everyone, not just my league, but the whole of the AFL, and it's very, very impressive to see that we've got some real knowledge, especially in the top 5. Less so down below, we're just winging it. I hope you enjoyed. Please do make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.